Hey guys, so today is a fragrance rotation finally. I've received some messages, people were missing my fragrance rotations. I was trying to finish off some samples, which I have told you about in a previous video regarding fragrances. But now we're returning to the perfume rotation, which isn't my favorite mode of using up my fragrances. Why? Because that month of samples actually was not an easy month for me in terms of my fragrances, because with samples you never know what kind of fragrance you're gonna get if you're picking up a new sample, and in the end it might not suit the occasion, it might not suit the the mood. It's just trial and error, and I enjoy it, some trial and error. But in fact, I do think I prefer to have something that I know what it's going to do. Like, I know that's a work fragrance, I know that's a home fragrance, I know that's an occasion fragrance. I want to have some control over that, because I feel like I was smelling inappropriately, meaning that maybe sometimes I was wearing very heavy fragrances because that's what I was testing out that time, to say work or cozy occasions. I was wearing something much more sterile because that's what I was testing out. Anyway, I'm back to my favorite mode of using up fragrances. However, I do want to focus on my bigger size samples, mostly because I want to do a lot more reviews for those smaller size fragrances, the roller bowls, the smaller sprays, not necessarily the 2 ml samples. I don't think that's quite enough to have very solid opinion and dedicate a certain video to a fragrance, but 5 mils, 10 mils, I think that's enough to test it out for maybe 10 times or so. And then I think it's fair game and we can talk about the fragrance, because I do need some wear time and to live with the fragrance a little bit to form an opinion. Anyway, so that took a while, but here we are. We have the fragrance rotation, and this one was really easy for me to pick because I already had in mind what kind of fragrances I wanted. So for the next few weeks, Prada is going to be one of the stars of this rotation, and this is definitely a work scent. This is Prada Infusion d'Iris, and it is the Eau de Parfum Absolue. So if you have smelled Infusion d'Iris or Infusion d'Iris, then you know that what kind of a scent it is. It's a powdery irisy scent. However, this is a different version of it that isn't easy to find nowadays, because it's Eau de Parfum Absolue. We have some extra ingredients here. We have a little bit more softness, a little bit less clean, powdery feel to it. Definitely it is still very much a work scent, but it's quite feminine, a little bit more feminine, and a little bit softer than the original Infusion d'Iris de Parfum. And I am stoked to pull this guy out. It will be a separate review on that one for sure. Then we have the Lolita Lempicka. This guy I pulled because I haven't used it since last spring, I think, and it's just too bad that it's sitting there collecting dust. I halved the bottle last year. I might want to use this up before the summer hits, but we'll see. This is a beautiful, flirty, licorice, sweet, moody, a little bit scent. So this is going to be my occasion wear, home, coziness, sort of sexiness sort of scent. Very cute. A little bit of a pouty, spoiled rich girl scent. I love this guy. It's very nostalgic for me. I've worn this scent for years, and I'm so happy to have my hands back on it. Then we have a new addition to my fragrance wardrobe, and this was purchased for this spring by me, and this is Le Parfum by Carven. I've gone through a few samples of this, and I liked it enough to go ahead and order the smaller size on the 50 ml. I believe that was the smallest size available. Otherwise, I would have gone for 30 ml. But this sits in the same classroom and is friends with my Burberry by Burberry, which they are, birds of the same feather. Here we have also very dewy garden, very spring, just starting to bloom flowers. It's a little bit wet, well, actually dewy is a good way to describe it, and it's a bit sweet. There is tons of sweet pea, which is also the solo artist in My Burberry by Burberry, and that's why I felt like the scents were related, and they are, I think, just by virtue of sort of being in the same class. But if My Burberry is more fall for me, this one's a little bit more spring, and it's very pretty floral. It's a floral scent, a little bit sweet, but floral, floral, floral. Very beautiful. I will also film a separate video on that one. And then the sample that I'm including this time around is this guy, and there's tons of fragrance in here. I'll definitely be able to form an opinion. This is Miss Dior, Absolutely Blooming. I am not a huge fan of Dior fragrances, actually. I find it difficult to find something that stands out to me enough to purchase from Dior, at least from the newer releases. I will test out this Absolutely Blooming and definitely will form an opinion about it and make sure I understand the scent very well before I speak about it. This specific one is a 5 ml bottle. I think that's quite enough to understand the scent. I will probably get about 10, maybe more wears out of it. So I will film also a separate video on that one too. So that's it. Those are the fragrances that I have, you know, I've come up with for this rotation. So that's it for today. See you guys later. Have a good day. Bye-bye.